Hello and welcome, everyone. Okay, let's begin with the flag salute in the four-way pledge. Kurt.
December 7th, 1941, a date that will live in infamy. Please join me in saluting the flag and commemorate the sailors that we lost in Pearl Harbor on that day.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands.
Please join me in the four-way test of the things we say and do. First, is it the truth? Second, will it be fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
You can be seated. I'm going to just read you a short poem about Christmas by John Greenleaf Whittier. It's called Somehow Not Only for Christmas. Somehow, not only for Christmas, but all the long year through, the joy that you give to others is the joy that comes back to you. And the more you spend in blessing the poor and lonely and sad, the more of your heart's possessing returns to make you glad.
Love Christmas poems. Okay, we have a honorary member who is visiting us today, Charlie Seagraves, who's actually one of us. And then any other guest, I see David Sloan, who has been posted a few times to become a member. Who else? No, I just got this. Oh, all right, hi. What are your names? Welcome to the club. Okay, anybody else? Hello, Susan. Okay. And of course, we have our speaker, Dan Smith, but we'll do a little more formal introduction later. Okay, have I missed anybody?
Yes.
Yes, any other guests?
David Sloan there who's applying.
I mentioned David.
Oh, you get it right there. Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Where are you?
He was,
In my own head, I
hey,
enjoying myself.
leave him alone. He keeps the show running. He's in great shape. Okay, let's see. Just a couple things, what's coming up. Next week, we have a big meeting. We have a visit by District Governor Jim Pope and his wife are coming, and also the Assistant Governor, Bruce Reese. So be on your best behavior, please. We're going to do the ornament exchange. Jody's going to run the ornament exchange, so that'll be lots of fun. We also have the election of officers. So we've been posting the slate of candidates for the next Rotary year in the Navigator the past several weeks. And we actually have the election next week. We also can take nominations from the floor. So just please be here for that. We're going to just do a voice raise your hand vote. We won't be taking a ballot. So those are important things. And then one more thing, could I invite Donna Sparrow up here? It's about the sweater. Well, actually, Donna has survived the rigorous test of going from a blue badge, a red badge to the blue badge, and she has made it. So we would like to present her with her blue badge. Congratulations. Although the red matches your sweater better. Yeah, nice contrast. All right, let's see. I think we have some announcements. Come on up.
Good afternoon. Tonight is our next social, and we are going to be at the Glass Forge. This was one of those things you had to sign up for. I put the sign-up sheet back in the back of the room because it's been a while since we've signed it. And I don't know about you, but I have a hard time remembering yesterday and not to mention 2 weeks ago what I signed up for. So if you're wondering, did I sign up or did I not sign up? Check in the back room. If you decided you want to do an ornament and you did not check the box before, you still can do that. So do that, please. Secondly, I talked to Lee at the Glass Forge, and generally they're charging $35 a piece to have the ornaments made, and they aren't going to charge us anything tonight. And so what he and I talked about is, why don't we use this as a way to seed the Porch Fest event? And so instead of paying the Glass Forge to blow the ornament, donate $20 toward Porch Fest, and we'll get us started for the 2024 season. Thank you, and see you tonight. Oh, Kaver, question? Kaver is wondering why they aren't charging us.
They want to honor the value and the work we did to create the mural then. It is a benefit to them. They have to maintain it in the future, but it is a benefit to them.
When I asked him that, he said, well, I don't know. You want to pay somebody to paint the side of this building for me? It's very practical and very generous.
We have one other thing. As part of the mural, we're going to put on there a thank you to the people that worked on it and donated. And so the question has come up, how do we thank ourselves as members? Do we put our individual names on that sort of list of those that have donated time and energy, or do we say the club, thank you to the club, Road Gateway Rotary, and some wording like that? And so I kind of wanted to get how it is you want to do that, because it makes a difference with how many names we put on there, and also trying to remember who of the club has helped in whatever way. So it looks like I saw some nods when I said thank the club, and not necessarily ourselves as individuals. So we'll go with that. Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Well, next week is going to be a really, really fun week. We start off on Tuesday with our backpack stuffing event. So that will be at Grants Pass High School Commons. We'll start off at 4:30 with those that will be unloading, staging the event, getting rid of the debris. At 5:30, hopefully, we will be able to start stuffing the backpacks. So we'll go through that process. And following that, then we'll start loading the cars for the delivery of the backpacks. Thank you again to everybody who was signed up to be able to go ahead and do the deliveries. We're all set. And I did get some people as backup. So I appreciate that too, because, this time of year, there's always stuff that happens. So I appreciate having all of that. Then let's see, on Thursday, we've got our ornament exchange. I found another right-left game, so it'll be a little bit different than the last one we had. Of course, it's still Christmas, so it'll be like that. But anyway, I'll send out another email about the backpack program. They don't want us to be parking up, right up there by the performing arts. We need to be parking, on the street and in the parking lot that's over there by it. I don't know if they've got another event happening that day or not, but they asked us before just to do that. And then when the cars are ready to be stuffed, then we bring them up. Yes, Doug.
Could anybody who's coming early to unload, if they have a hand truck, would you bring it with you?
That's perfect. Yeah. So anybody that can bring a hand truck, bring box cutters, can bring large garbage bags, so that we don't end up using the school's receptacles without replenishing them. That type of thing, that all of that is very important and very helpful. So anyway, I'm really excited. It's coming to fruition. We've got a whole bunch of boxes and a whole bunch of stuff to put in those backpacks. So here we go.
Thank you, Jody. Greg Fishwick here. Little update about our blue bag promotion, that the Oregon Bottle Drop holiday match, which was a 20% match between November 15th and December 2nd, resulted in an extra $12 for us. We had 20 bags donated, and the average bag was $4.75, which converts to $5.33 with the match. So thank you very much for those who participated.
This is kind of a bittersweet presentation to make. I have Helen Scott's foundation pen showing Paul Harris +5, and we'd like just come on with silence and memory and thank her for continuing to be donating to the Rotary Foundation. Thank you.
While we're doing Paul, boy, I always blow that one. Paul Harris Fellowship Awards. I see Suzanne Levine is visiting via Zoom, and we have one for you, Suzanne. You want to turn off your mute and say hello to us? Maybe she's hiding out, but at any rate, it's Paul Harris. There you go. I'm sorry.
I'm here.
There you go. Hey, we've got a pin for you for your donations to the foundation, and we wanted to thank you.
You're
And I'll
most welcome.
I'll get it to you. I'm not sure how, but I'll get it to you. All right, we got it. Okay, thank you, and congratulations.
A follow-up to our activity tonight with the party on the $20. You can give me your money because you need to put it into the foundation, or you could write a check to Porch Fest. So either way, and I will be there this evening to party with you and collect more money.
Okay, this is the last announcement on this because next Thursday is the deadline for me to get the cards in for Operation Joy. Thanks to all the club members who brought filled out cards today. Really appreciate that. We also have some more unfilled out cards. Claudia will have some in the back. I've got some in the front. So if you want to take some home with you and bring them back on Thursday of next week, and then we'll be done with it. Thanks, everyone.
Right, lots going on. That leads us to our presentation today, and I think, let's see, Tommy, I believe you're going to do the introduction.
Well, today we have Dan Smith, who is a member of the E-Club of wherever in our district. And he's also, well, you know, the E-Clubs are everywhere. So, and he's also our district website master. So any ideas, send them to him. I'm sure he'd love me for that. Anyway, he has spent 4 years in Ukraine working with them. He's got a few videos, which I will email to everybody as they somehow missed the navigator. But it's, you know, with the people that he's worked with and just done a fabulous job, in my view, of trying to help a horrible situation at least be a bit better. So, Dan?
Okay, yes, my name's Dan Smith, and I just, in March of this year, I went to Ukraine. I was there for 5 weeks. So this is pretty much the story of that particular trip. And they asked me to do a presentation for the, do you want to make that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I know how.
There's a little F5, actually.
F5,
usually does it.
I like that. No.
Or up at the
Thank
top, it says show. Anyway.
I gotta do share screen.
So I was asked to do a presentation for the district conference, and they said, well, we're going to do a TED Talk. So I did some research, like, what is a good TED Talk all about? And what they said was, you need a prop. So I decided that I'm going to be the prop, me and my t-shirt. So that's how we got started with this. The first thing is, in Ukraine, they say Slava Ukraine, which means glory to Ukraine. And the reply is Heroin Slava, which is glory to heroes. And when they say this, they're talking about the military usually. In my estimation, from being there for that 5 weeks, actually the people of Ukraine are the heroes. So that's what this is going to be all about, is to show you, and hopefully at the end of this presentation, you'll agree with me that the Ukrainian people are the heroes.
Cool. Ah, I did it.
I think we're going.
Yeah.
So the first thing is the trident. This is called the trident. That's it there. And many people go, well, it's Poseidon's trident. There's all kinds of theories as to like it's the Trinity or different things like that. But actually, what the trident is from is A falcon, the royal falcon. You can see the wings and how that's laid out, very much like the trident here. So that's your first little history lesson. If I can make this thing work. Are we doing something here?
No, I'm not doing anything, I promise.
I'm talking to it.
Worked a bit ago.
Yeah, it did. Maybe it's conflicting with the. That's me. That's you. So. Pointer. I can come over there and just hit the event. No. That's me. I got it. I got it. Okay, these are the three takeaways. One is the Ukrainian people are the heroes, and we can help them. And actually, I feel that they can help us. So we'll go through all that and how about this way? This is okay. Actually, I lived in Ukraine for 6 years. I had a conference center there. This is the conference center. So this was back in the mid 2000s. And when the first thing, when I first heard about the war and all that, I really wanted to go back. But I'm glad I didn't, because at that point in time, there were tens of thousands of nonprofits going into Ukraine, people there to help. So I waited, and now seemed to be a better time, because now is when people need to know about Ukraine, not during the big. So Rotary sponsored $15 million. We sent $15 million to Ukraine to help with the people in the effort. So my objective was there to kind of take a look at what's going on and what's our money doing, things like that. So it's been over a year that people are tired of hearing about it. You can tell our legislature is arguing about it. So it's a very sad time. People are tired of paying for it. So we spent 5 weeks there. And when I say we, you came with me, because a lot of Rotarians helped finance the trip. And they even gave me some things to take over to deliver there. So this is a Rotary trip. That's what you hear in Ukraine. And it's a terrifying sound, it truly is. And when I was there, our first day, I came into Kyiv, and that night at 1 o'clock in the morning, this went off. And I'm like freaking out. I went, grabbed my to-go bag and dashed downstairs and went into the subway, which is, I'll show you a picture of it later, but it's way far down, about a quarter-mile escalator. And down on the way down, the military guys are at the top of the escalator getting ready. They're getting their guns out, putting on their gear and things like that. Went all the way down there, and there were 3 of us in the subway. That was all. And people there you get used to it. After a year of hearing that 7, 8 times a day, you kind of get to a point where it's like, why bother? So they just kind of go on with the rest of their lives. So I came up and I watched kind of the stuff going on, people at the barricades, things like that. And then I went back up to my hotel room. So but to me, that just raises goosebumps. We did this presentation in Medford, and there was a group of Ukrainian people there. Their emotions, they just reacted to it. Like you could see them. It really was something that bothered them a lot. So anyway, this is the Springfield Club gave me a bag to take down, and it has bivy bags, and it has these crank flashlights. so people don't have to buy batteries. And the Vivi bags are made of mylar. And they sent them there for the a village of Moshun. We'll talk more about that. But what happened was they took about half of those and they sent them to the front, because people that are in the war and they have injuries, and they wind up having a hard time keeping them warm while they transport them back to the hospitals. So these Vivi bags actually saved lives because they used them to keep the people warm, these mylar bags. So just a nice little sideline. Wasn't expecting that. These are the places we visited. We went to Kyiv, out to Kharkiv, which is, we're going to talk a lot more about that, which is very close to the front, and also to Cherkasy, which is fairly safe part of the country. We'll show you the war zones and where all that's at. This is what it was like. This is Poland. You fly into Poland, then you take the train across into Ukraine. And the first stop was Kyiv. And in Kyiv, we met Sergei. And you may have seen him. The minute that the invasion happened, Sergei adopted the village of Moshun and spent all over the world doing Zoom meetings, trying to raise money to provide housing for the people of Moshun. Great guy. This is just how the war progressed. You can see that they just blitzkrieged on down into the area. This is the Irpine River, and Moshun is north of the river. Kyiv is south of the river. What happened was the Russians came in, and they did just like World War I. They had the paratroopers, and they took over the airport and that whole thing. And the only way the Ukrainians weren't ready for it, and the only way they could stop them, was they blew up the dam on the river. So now they couldn't take their tanks and their armored vehicles across because it was too muddy. So what they did is they turned around and totally blasted the little village of Moshun. And what they would do, they'd be coming down the highway, and they would turn their turrets and they would blast at the school. This is another Sergei. He's the principal of the school there. This is the school. And they would just turn and blast it. The 160 people were down in the basements living here for over a month. 160 people in these two areas. They cooked, they did everything down there because they had no places to go. Many of them had to stay even after the Russians had left. So just pretty devastating stuff. They were taking us on a tour of the school itself, and he had images of what it looked like. And this is some of the houses that Sergei managed to get funded. You can see from all the different flags from all over the world, different people would invest in having providing a house for the people there. This is one of the houses. They're like a little mobile unit of sorts. This fellow, you can see his house behind him. And instead of putting them together in communities like most of the nonprofits, Sergei decided it was best to put the house where the person's property was. More complicated, more difficult, but at least they can be where their home is. They can be part of the community still without having to be a refugee in their own country. So that was a good thing. And this is another picture of that. This is Bansky. If you remember, there was he did the artwork. People were stealing his work. So this is just one of, you can see over here, the bathtub. This is what the building was put in at. This is downtown Kyiv. And what they do is these Tinker Toy looking things, when they have an alarm, they roll those across the road to stop the tanks. So this is downtown in a major city. This is what it looks like. This was this summer. So you can see that the people are in their clothes. And this was their 1,500th anniversary of the city of Kyiv. And of course, the Russians are going to, try to bomb it out. So all the people, you see the kids, they got their cell phones. They're just normal people. But this is what the escalator looks like. So they all went down into the bomb shelters for this. This is up on the hill. This is St. Michael's Cathedral. And over there, that's the monument to Olga.
And what they've done all across the country is they've put sandbags around their monuments to protect their history. So it's just a way for them to preserve their path for the future. Pardon? Olga, I'm sorry. Olga was Vladimir was the original founder of Kyiv, if you will, brought Christianity in, and Olga was his mother. So she was a saint. She helped spread Christianity into Ukraine. And interestingly, though, when he became Christian, what he did was he made all the people go down to the river and get baptized. So the whole population went down to the river to be baptized. So that's a big part of their history. They've been around for a very long time. So I was going to Kharkiv, and it's like, okay, going into a war zone, what kind of train are you going to be on? This is what I thought. This is what the trains were when I was living there. Just an old Soviet kind of thing. But actually, this is the train you take into Kharkiv. It's a super fast, it's very elegant inside, and a 4-hour trip costs $17. So that's first class. So it was quite unexpected. When you get there, this is Yulia and her team. Yulia's a redhead. She is the most dedicated person. What she did was, as the invasion was happening, she put her cell phone out as a hotline. And she got people from all over the region calling, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? So they decided, when you're in Ukraine, everybody works. You can see me hauling stuff. So, and what they do is, she's very careful about the Rotary identity. Everything has a label on it, has a Rotary logo. So she's very good at that. These are the villages that we visited. And you can see the red part is where it's currently occupied. The green part is where the Russians used to occupy it and were chased out. And then you can see that that's the Russian border with the red boxes. Those are military installations. And so we're pretty close. There was, yes. Yeah, this is where the war is currently going on. It's occupied Ukraine. The yellow part around the edges, that's Russia itself. So when they came in, you can see how close it is. They just, bingo, they're there. So good, ask questions anytime, just holler at me. Pardon? Crimea is much farther south. Crimea is about the latitude of maybe San Francisco, and Kyiv is the latitude of Portland. So that's kind of the distance. Sorry. Sorry about that. That is, if you recognize the voice, that's Luke Skywalker. That's why the Force be with you. They hired him to do the English version of the thing. I'm sorry. Uh-huh. Yes, actually, that's Yulia, and all three of the women there are Rotarians. She's the president of the club there. And what we're doing is she's just so dedicated. I tell you, the things that they've done, when we sent material over there, okay, they have warehouses 10 times the size of this room full of stuff. And they got to go through voluntarily sorting through all that, figuring a way to get it from there out to the people, and putting labels on it and all that sort of thing. So it was kind of us to send all that over, but it really put a burden on them. And they rose to the occasion. They really are dedicated people. But that's Yulia, and the name of the club is Kharkiv Hope. That's the name of the club. So these are the villages that she took us to. These are the villages that called and said they would like some help. This is the villagers. We have a video if you get a chance to see it. It's really totally wonderful. Look at these people. Aren't they just, to me, they're like incredible. They are living still, even now, almost 2 years later, they're living in their root cellars. When the Russians came, they came to this village, they occupied the village, and they just blew things up. And these people were down in their root cellar. This fellow here wanted so much to say thank you. So he insisted on just talking to thank the Americans for all support. Without us, he said, they would still be occupied by Russia. These are Russian-speaking people. They're Russian blood, but they're Ukrainian people. And they wanted to make that very clear. This is Ludmila. And what I did was I asked, can somebody take me to your house? I want to see what's inside. I want to take you guys on a tour inside of their houses. And she says, yeah, I'm glad to take you, but it's going to be very dangerous. She's not dangerous for me, but dangerous for her emotions. So but I'll take you there anyway. So we walked up the street, and this is Ludmila's house. 3 generations lived in this house, her sons and their children and herself. And the little green door in the back there, that's the entrance to the root cellar that goes downstairs. So she took us through, and of course the bombs turned into fire, which gutted the whole place. And then we went down into the root cellar, and they were down there for 3 weeks. And then the Russians, which were actually Chechens, came and said, you have 5 minutes to get out of here or we will kill you. So they packed up their whole family and just ran out of the village. This is another fellow in the nearby village. You can see he's pointing to the backyard. Every dollar or hryvnias, that's their currency, that he gets, he buys a block to rebuild his house. So he's rebuilding his own place 1 block at a time. So you can see what he's doing there. What he's doing is pointing to the backyard, their backyard, which is where they grew their food. His son went back there, picked up this is a landmine, picked up the landmine and it killed it. So he kept the landmine and he was showing it to us just to say, this is what happened. Very stoic, these people. They don't cry, they just hold it inside, and it's going to cost them eventually. So this is what they do. They have these drones that go flying around and they just blast all these pretty little landmines out. And they're mostly targeted to children because they're so brightly colored and like toys. They even I've got pictures of, they'll take a teddy bear, and they'll put a mine in the back of it and set it out for people, for kids. This is Salts. This is the coast we were to the Russian line. You can see the trench. This is a Russian trench. She said that the troops that were there had only maybe a jacket, tennis shoes. They didn't have any sort of a uniform. And when the Ukrainians came, they just ran. They threw their uniforms off and ran away. This is the Ukrainian trenches, and you can see the apartment complexes behind it. They have a loop road that goes around Kharkiv. And the Russians came right up to the loop road where these apartments are, and then the Ukrainians managed to drive them completely back. But when you're traveling in that country, you've got to have your papers with you. You go through all kinds of roadblocks and military installations, and thou shalt not take a picture because it's not a good thing. So I don't, otherwise I'd have pictures of that as well. So what they did, we sat there in that place and we talked about, one of the things they tell us is that the Russians are trying to liberate Russian-speaking people. They sat there and they said, we are Ukrainians. We're Russian-speaking. Our grandparents are Russian, but we would never want to be part of Russia. So they just wanted to make that extremely clear. So now we're going to Cherkasy, and I'm going to have to speed it up here a little bit. Beautiful place. It was built by the Russians to be a military resort, so it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is Tatiana. And Tatiana is just this incredible, she's a journalist. And what she does is she actually sits down with people that have been war crimes. She'll interview war crime victims. To me, wow, that's got to be hard to do for the international courts. And she had me, I was speaking, I was on TV, I was presenting to the colleges and things like that. This is Max. Max is a college student. And when I first met Max, I was standing waiting for Tatiana, she's about this tall. This guy comes walking up, he's about this tall. And he walks straight up to me and I'm going, what's going on? And he lifted up his hair and he says, hi, I'm Max. I'm your interpreter, your translator. So this guy is incredible. What he does, and this is very typical, he's a Rotary actor. What he does, he interprets or translates for anybody that comes in. They have the Rotary Club goes out and teaches refugee children English. And they also make called trench candles. They'll take tin cans and put wax in them so they can, in the trenches, they have something to warm or to cook on, things like that. And they'll take the batteries out of vaping sticks and they'll put those batteries together, and 10 of those together can recharge a cell phone. So that's his day, you know, pretty incredible. So when we went to visit the volunteer center, and we'll show you more pictures, this was a group of students coming to volunteer. They had a guitar, they sat and they played some Ukrainian folk songs. And you can see they're reading the lyrics. They don't know their folk songs. And then they also came out and they sang the Ukrainian national anthem for you. They got me in the back there. So they're singing it to you, and Max is the one that's recording it. So this is Oksana. And Oksana, what she does is she takes all the supplies that they put together in this volunteer center, and she goes to Bakhmut. At least she did for the time she was there. And what they do is they have this caravan that gets together and goes out at night, and they come up across these bridges. This is what it was like going into Bakhmut. And this is the supplies they're taking. And I did not see one bullet, gun, no military equipment. What they're taking here are cookies from grandma. They're taking underwear, clean underwear for their children. It's everybody there is just so focused on helping and they're being invaded. So it's incredible. And what they do is the kids draw pictures, and then this fellow brought them to the thing, and they take them and give them to the military people. These become their icons. They wear these close to their hearts just to remind them why they're doing this. They're doing this for their children. This is grandma, and she's making ghillie suits and camouflage. What they do is they take the grasses and stitch them into nets. And this is grandpa. He's got a ghillie suit on, and he puts the thing on, and he just like totally disappears. So they make this stuff themselves. They just sit there and do that all day long. The biggest question is why? Why are they being invaded? Why war in the 22nd, 21st century we've got here? Why do they bomb the schools? Why do they steal the children? Just why? Nobody there has any idea. This is their currency. This is my longer version, so I'm just going to click through this. This is what they're trying to make Ukraine modern, so everybody has a QR code. So and then credit cards and things. This is a musical group on the street in Lviv, and you can see down in the corner there's their QR code. So you can take donations online. This is just a group of kids. We're supporting a group of children in Kherson. Kherson is divided in half by the river. Russians have one side. This is the kids from an orphanage. And what they did, rather than have the orphanage disbanded, and the people that were taking care of the kids brought them into their houses. For 2 years, they've had to be in, curtains. You can't open the curtains. You can't go outside. Have a birthday. I mean, it's kind of just, and you'll see them holding up boxes of laundry soap. And they're like, look at my laundry soap, So simplest things make the most important. This is what they do is some of the computer art. So that they'll describe something to the computer and it'll draw it. So instead of clouds, Ukrainian children see cabbages. So, and instead of what they dream about is cats and angels and blowing up the Kremlin, things like that. This is their imagination. So I hope you agree that the Ukrainian people are the heroes. That's my, we're actually working on 3 projects. This is a summer camp where they teach kids their tradition. So they have storytellers. They make drawings and they tell stories, and it's all about Ukrainian tradition. This is a equine center. What they do is let me think. They rescue horses from the front and they bring them here and they teach kids. These are kids that are traumatized, so they'll get them used to an animal because kids and animals and horses especially, and these are the people we're supporting them by helping them buy seed when it was time and also to blocks to help build their houses. So we can help them with our resources. We can help them rebuild, support their mental health and things like that. But what can they do for us? They don't have anything. What we can get from them is their strength and their courage. That's what we could use, especially in this horrendous little election year we got coming on. We need something that gives us the kind of strength that they have, that brings us together as a nation like they are. So, so I support Ukraine. You want to do something? How about we divide here? And this part, if you want to say Slava Ukraina, Slava Ukraina, and you guys say Heroim Slava. I'm ready. Slava Ukraina. Heroim Slava. Thank you. Thank you. Questions? I do have a video about the landmines too, if you want to watch it. Yes, yes, gladly. Do we have time for a video? How long is the video? About 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay. That would be good. This will explain a little. This is a video that shows what Ukraine was like before the war. Children are sleeping in their bed. You can read the thing, dreaming what children all dream about. And then suddenly there's war. And they're fleeing. On February 24th, Russia attacked Ukraine. There's a brutal, it's an invasion. And people fled. It was people hearing stories of people trying to get out of there, save their children, to surrender. Many lost their home. They lost their lives. I wish you could see them. This war is still trying to take away their children. For some reason, the children are the target. And pardon? Yeah, yeah. So this is what's happening now. This is the landmine. And what's happening is that there is 155,000 square miles of Ukraine. That's 1/3 of the country is covered in landmines. And what they do, they're trying to get rid of a mine. They don't have a way to do it. So what they do is they throw tires at it, or they snap it with a piece of twig. And the children are the ones that are suffering. What they're doing, this is the Rotary Club there. They make these signs, and the military goes out and puts these signs up to block off the areas so the kids don't go there. So far, there are about 700 people, 200 that are injured by the landmines. 260 are dead, and mostly children from going out playing. So with those little things are on your table, we're working with the Rotary Club in Kyiv, in Kharkiv. And what we're doing is for $3, you can buy one of those signs. So what that is it's a link to a donation page so that you can buy some signs. What they do is the club prints the signs, puts them on the stick, and then the military comes and takes them and puts them around the areas. So not only children, but also the farmers, you know, they got to get out and farm. So they try all kinds of things to clear the land and help their own property. So that's what that's about. Any questions? I would love to go back. I would be there in a nanosecond, but there's some sort of a Poland is upset because Ukraine is putting their grain. So the Polish farmers are blockading Ukraine. So you can't go in or out right now. So there's a ripple effect. I certainly agree with the Polish farmers. You know, they have a right to protect their own livelihood. But I would go there. Yes, I would. If I had the money, I'd be there right now. They're wonderful. Thank you very much. I so much appreciate it.
Ellie, I hate to ask you up there after that, but our Sergeant at Arms, and thank you, Dan. That was amazing.
So, yeah, not sure how to say what kind of act that was to follow. So just so you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about Christmas and hope and light, but also I want to recognize that tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, and Christmas and Hanukkah. There must be, I'm going to just throw a number out, 14 holidays that are festivals of light. And they all have things in common. So I just wish we could remember why we have festivals of light when this sort of thing is happening here with what's going on in Israel right now, what's going on with the Palestinians that are being tossed about, and with the Jewish people, and yikes. I think it's interesting, for the first 3 centuries after Jesus was born, that there was no recognition, really. He wasn't celebrated at all. It wasn't until in the 300s that they started putting it on the calendar, and they chose December 25th. And it wasn't really, if you know anything about history, you know that Constantine was the reason for that. And it was actually his mother who got things going. Her name was Helena. And she's the one that convinced him to become Christian. He, of course, was able to get this put on the Roman calendar. They had to pick a date that would please the people. December 25th became that date. It was actually a holiday for other reasons, more pagan, but the people you had to convince the people to join in. And so that was a good reason to pick that date. But now let's move forward to Christmas as we know it today. If you think about, oh my goodness, I haven't gotten a gift for so-and-so, and it's December the 24th. And you're saying, okay, I'm on the cusp here. You're not alone. From what I understand, about 50% wait until that day to do their shopping. I'm one of them. I'm sure you're right there. I love this little piece of information. It was about Belsnickel. Has anybody ever heard of Belsnickel? See now, I hadn't either. German? I don't know why, actually from the Pennsylvania Dutch. Belsnickel dressed in furs like animal furs, and carried a switch. Yeah, and he'd make the rounds before Christmas. And this was the whole naughty nice concept. So if you were naughty, you got the switch from Belsnickel. And so that was the threat. Evil parents to come up with folklore like this. I thought this was interesting too, that artificial trees, I always thought that was an American concept. Oh no. That came from Germany in the 1800s. Yeah. And not only were they artificial, they were made using goose feathers as the branches that were dyed green. So if you want to see anything of that now, I think Dr. Seuss did something with that. In The Grinch Stole Christmas, you may want to look and see what those trees look like, because artists always have fun with history. You know that the legend of hanging Christmas stockings did not come from America either. Do we all know where that came from? Probably. Just a refresher. It was actually because it was a tradition to hang your stockings by the fireplace because they were usually soaking wet or needed to be washed because you didn't have washing machines back in those days. And so there was a poor man who had 3 daughters, and you couldn't get them married unless they had a dowry. And so very kind, anonymous man snuck into the house and put coins in their stockings. And that transferred into, hey, he didn't just come in, he came down the chimney. Although there was no history, I mean, nobody could verify that, but that was how that legend became what it was. I love this little piece of information about eggnog. I'd never realized, I always thought that was American. Oh, well, it kind of was. It went back to John Smith. It went back to 1600s in Jamestown, where they called it nog. And nog came from the word grog, which is European, and it really means any drink that you're going to make has to have rum in it. That was the first eggnog that we then enjoyed still today. This one I kind of want to leave you with, decorating for the holidays. I don't know if you realize this, but the Consumer Report Safety Commission noted that there are approximately 14,700 holiday decorating related injuries every year. And so what that averages is about 240 a day during Christmas season. Is that going to be you putting up lights? Now back to the real reason that we are celebrating this holiday. All of the holidays that we celebrate, Kwanzaa, I could keep going on with so many, solstice, so many holidays. Why do we celebrate them? Certainly not for what we were just reading about, but yes, maybe for what we were reading about or hearing about. We want to spread joy. We want to spread gratitude. We want to spread love and peace with your family, your neighbors, your friends, your community. And whether it's in the form of a card or cookies or presents, a gift of money or a gift of time, any one of those things, that's the reason for the holiday. And I want to leave you with a quote from somebody that Margaret and Tommy and I were lucky enough to learn about when we went to Turkey. His name was Rumi, and he was a Persian poet who lived, I wrote it down, oh my goodness, he died like 700 some years ago. And Rumi made an amazing statement. He said, the lamps are different, but the light's always the same. And that still gives me chills to read about and hear about. Do we have Happy Bucks? And we also have cards. Let's do our Happy Bucks first. I'll start with Miss Brenda.
I have 5 Happy Bucks. I am just so happy with this group. It's such an honor to be driving into this beautiful little community and coming where all these points of light are. I'm so proud of us and so proud of the Ukrainian Rotarians. This is what this season is all about. And of course, for me, the high holiday is the solstice, the winter solstice, which is also a festival, right? So I love you. I love being a Rotarian, and we have lots to be grateful for.
Yes, and solstice, the thought of that light comes in the form of a fire, doesn't it?
Hi, a while back, it was brought up about what inspires us. And there's a woman here who said, and it was Margaret, who said, this club inspires her. And I think we all pretty much feel the same way. Most of you know I've had reverse shoulder replacement and I'm 5.5 weeks post-surgery. And there are a number of people in this club started a food chain, which I have been so blessed. And Jerry, oh my God, if he could make me sick a lot, it'd be okay. I appreciate, love it. Thank you very, very much. I think I've returned all the dishes and that. There's one thing that I haven't returned, which I'd love for you to take back, and that's the 7 pounds I gained. So thank you, and here you go.
Okay, we're just glad you're better.
This is a happy buck because the discussion of 50-50 earlier brought me back to my youth as a shoe salesman in a ladies' shoe store. And truly, the men came in on Christmas Eve and bought slippers for their sweethearts.
Yep.
Hi, everybody. So I have, it goes from Christmas past. I have 55 happy bucks for being here today to share Bailey's birthday, his 55 wonderful years.
Oh, do you know what a treasure this is? I taught with her mama. Okay, anybody else have happy?
I have a few happy bucks. One of them is the entertainment that the rest of you didn't probably enjoy during the presentation. As Kelly was talking, Claudia's phone was talking back to her. Her watch was talking to her. So it's like, she's looking stuff up on the internet, thanks to you. Anyways, that was very entertaining. And when I came to the meeting tonight, there was this man walking this adorable dog across the street. And I said hi to him. And I said, I love your dog's ears. Little did I know, a little while later, here he is, our prisoner's father is here. So, you know, you make friends in many ways. And I too am inspired by this club. We are awesome.
Yes, we are.
I just want to thank Dan for coming. And, you know, what I took away from it and inspired the horror of what we saw was just the optimism and the positivity and a lot of love, actually, which was very inspiring to me. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So I've got a couple happy bucks. I bought a sandblast cabinet, very large thing to sandblast metal in, because of my yard art, I have a lot of dirty, rusty crap I got to clean up before I can weld or paint it. And I think I got it running. It's fantastic. It's wonderful to have it up and running. A strange thing. Doesn't interest anybody else, but it's thrilling the shit out of me that I got the sandblast cabinet. But Tommy's interested in the sandblast cabinet. But also, strangely enough, I bought it at a garage sale from the guy who owns the partner that owns Glass Forge about 3 years ago, and I finally got it running, got it up and going. But then also a happy buck because we have one more announcement. If you're coming to tonight's function, it's going to be very crowded. I think about 60 people signed up to come. So bring a chair because we're going to probably expand outside to their back loading ramp area because it'll be pretty crowded in there. But about 30 people signed up to make ornaments, so we should be fine with the ornament making, but it'll be crowded. And then there was something else. Oh, Dan, I'm assuming that if we were interested in making donations other than this, we can go to the district website and there might be something there. Is that accurate? A way of making it? State of Jefferson, which is the E-Club, State of Jefferson Rotary Club in District 5110, and we can make a donation that way. Thank you.
Okay. Jan? Okay, so I have $5 because Afghanistan is supposedly starting to treat people for polio. And that was in the news, so I'm hoping it's all true. So we might just beat this sucker. Okay.
I have a happy buck because today is my son's 31st birthday and he's going to join us tonight to blow an ornament, hopefully. So he has a job interview first, but he should be there and I'm excited to have him with us and celebrate with him.
Yes, and before I do Kichwa. Okay, Zara. All right, I also want to say we're all grateful, and I'm going to throw in some happy bucks for Val having her knee replaced, and it was a successful surgery. She's doing quite well. This was her second one of those.
I have 5 happy bucks for my grandchildren who performed in a musical for Fusion last week, and they are on again for the Nutcracker. And they just work so hard, and the performances are fantastic. And also, I never mentioned that I'm really happy that the 6 of us went to Morocco, came back safely. Yeah, it was a very, very hectic trip, but thank God that we were all fine and we came back home safely. So here. Oh, one more thing. Not happy bucks, but I am still not sure how many people have heard about this December 13th, Wednesday, at doing the food bank up on the River Road. I just want to mention because I don't want to be there alone. So I'm going to be there at 3:30 on Wednesday the 13th. Yes, the 13th. So just reminding folks.
And I think we're packing food. Yeah. Okay. All right. Before I give this back to Jim, it's time to do our cards, our 50-50. So we need somebody. Dan the man. Any card. Ooh, it's magic, everybody. It's the 7 of diamonds. Oh, got it.
Hey, another great meeting. Thanks everyone for coming. And thank you, Dan, for talking to us and sharing your story. That was extraordinary. Tommy will donate her winnings, her recent winnings, to the Ukraine. So thank you, Tommy. Okay, this is about finding your voice. I know you all have a voice, so here's what Madeleine Albright said about it. She was our Secretary of State from 1997 through 2001. And what she said, it took me quite a long time to develop a voice. And now that I have it, I am not going to be silent. So thanks, everybody.